Hey friends, welcome to the Oracle of Lilith. My name is Amy, and today I am doing an Oracle of the Day. We're going to find out what's going on. And as I connected to Spirit this morning, I got this question. Is it weird enough for you yet? So that's what we're pulling on. This weird energy that many of us are feeling and seeing in the world. A lot of truth is coming out. And there seems to be a movement of fear-based energy moving through the collective right now. It seems like there's energy that's trying to stir up a lot of fear. And a lot of it is based in logic, what's going on in the world. A lot of people are really struggling and digging deep. Although this is a timeless reading, we are moving into the holidays, at least where I am. I'm in the United States, and it's that getting into that time of the year around here. So the next few months. So a lot of people are worrying about that kind of thing, money and resources and keeping a roof over their head and food on the table and jobs and things like that. And there's also all the tension in the world of the unknown. So we're going to look into that first and see what's going on. So is it weird enough for you yet? We have Kabbalah, the tree of life, integration, life lessons, emanation. We have vegans, solitude, independence, peace. Okay, we have third eye, visions, manifesting, meditation. Okay, so what I'm getting here, let me pull these closer to myself. What I'm getting here is I really feel like there's a need to really get control of our fear. And I think it's important that we don't devalue our fear, okay? Fear serves a purpose. It helps us know when there's danger. It helps us prepare for danger, okay? But to not allow fear to run away from us, okay? I feel like we need to focus on what we have. We need to focus on our connections, our loving connections. We need to keep peace in mind. We need to lean into peaceful connections. We need to keep our mind clear of thoughts of, what's the word I want to use here? Oh wow, I want to be careful here because I feel like a lot of energy right now is on edge. I feel like there's an energy in the world that's trying to pop off. Okay. And I feel like this message really is about the collective staying focused and not allowing the distractions that are going to be continually thrown at us as a group to get us off our focus. This card right here, the third eye card, visions, manifesting, and meditation. See the focus of this energy. See how the third eye is open and there's this giant heart here. I feel like your focus is very important at this time. Do not allow the rumors of discord and chaos, and there is chaos in the world, okay? But understand, please, please understand that chaos is a part of creation, okay? Old things, old ideas, old foundations are removed before the new can come in and be birthed, okay? It's a part of the cycle of creation. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the unveiling of toxicity, not only in our own lives personally, because many of you guys are going through that. You have been going through that. We're all in different stages of self-evolution, self-illumination, growth, healing. Some of us are just starting. Some of us have been doing it for years. We're all at different places in this journey of life. But this is happening now on a collective scale, on a massive scale. Okay, we're being mirrored now. And now there's a lot of weirdness in the world. And it feels like those energies, let's call them, that have always had their claw-like grip on the collective are clamping down. Okay, it's going to feel like a clamp down. And that's what you see in the world as far as the energies kicking up, the energies trying to make a menace, trying to cause malice. And that's where this fear is coming from. This feeling of wanting you to think that you don't really have control, that everything's out of your control. And yes, there are things that you don't directly have control of, right? Of course. But this is complex, okay? So your logic will tell you that, yes, there are things that are out of my control, right? But your internal universe is within your control. Okay, your internal world. And there are things within your environment that you do have control of. And so those are the things that you focus on. And within that connection with your internal universe, your connection with Source, God, consciousness, God, your higher self, your relationship with spirit, ancestors, your relationship with family, your relationship with those things you know you can't control. As you lean into that and you strengthen those connections, you will see the outer experience reflect a kind of reflection of your influence. I hesitate to use the word control here. Okay, I would use a reflection of your manifestation. Okay, and that's what we're seeing in the world. But there is almost, I don't want to use that word, spirit. I don't want to use that word. There is almost a kind of complex scenario going on where there are energies with claws bearing down on the collective that want you to believe you don't have control. You don't have any influence on what happens in the outer universe. Okay? That you don't matter there. Okay? And the truth is you do. But if they can convince you that you don't, you will stop influencing it. And things will return to stasis. I want you to know that things will never return to where they were. We are forever altered, okay? But this is the mark. Take note. This is the mark of desperation, all right? I want you to know that what we're going through right now on a collective scale is a mark that we have past a certain point of no return, that we are indeed shifting the paradigm, that we have indeed done this, okay? And yes, things are going to get weirder. They're going to get more strange. I'm getting the information that more interesting archaeological things are going to be discovered. Okay, some of these things may be uncomfortable. People need to pay more attention to discoveries that have been made and will be announced. Okay, believe it or not, some of these archaeological, sorry, my tongue's heavy, y'all, discoveries will have to do with some of the disclosure information. Okay, and we all need to be using our highest form of discernment when we listen to what we're being told. Okay? Now listen to me. I always remind people of this. Since 2020, many of you have been sharpening your tool of discernment for times like these. And I need you to lean into that, okay? Because deep down, you will feel and vibrate with the truth of what you're being told. That's what's most important here. Because many of us are no longer sleeping. We're no longer asleep in the nightmare. We're awake. And many of you may have found this video and are just waking up, okay? Many of you may be vibing with the frequency of 22 or 222 or number 2, okay? You may see this number often, all right? We may have some 11s here, 1111, but a lot of you are going to be 2s, okay? 22s. And that's because a lot of people who are, and this is a whole numerology thing, but this is what I'm getting. So a lot of people who are waking up right now are kind of moving very quickly to the 2s. They're being advanced very quickly. So their awakening is unlike those of us who woke up years ago. It's supersonic speed is what I'm hearing. It's like they are advancing at a galactic rate through all of this. So a lot of them are having some very weird experiences, and they need a lot of compassion because their minds are being blown on the daily. And they're having traumas at the same time. So for those of us who have been doing this for a while, we need to be more compassionate, okay? Because they are going through something. We're all being traumatized on the daily, and it's being done systematically, okay? Because traumatized people are more easily led back into systems of, okay? And so those of us who have been awake for a while and been walking, you may have gone through several ascension, what I call ascension events or growth events. You may have had several dark nights of the soul, and those of us who have just awakened, okay? We have all been through this. We're all going through this. We've all been, traumatized, okay? But the people who are waking up right now are those of us, what I'm trying to say, long story short, I'm trying to say that those of us who woke up many years ago, we didn't have this trauma at the same time as waking up. We had awakenings that weren't necessarily going through world trauma, collective trauma, personal trauma, and awakening at the same time. So it's a whole new kind of experience. And those of us who have been doing this for a while, those of you who are listening to this, you may be feeling called to kind of like get on your life purpose. Maybe you're being called to like be a teacher or work in the healthcare field or counseling or write a book. And I want you to know that if you're being called to do this, it's because there is a group coming behind you that's going to need your wisdom. Maybe you're an artist. Maybe you write music. Maybe you do creative things. There is a group of people that's coming behind us that need what we offer. They're going to need this wisdom, okay? They're going to need your experiences. They're going to need your creative space. They're going to need the gifts you offer to help get them through this energy, their collective trauma, their generational trauma, because they've been traumatized in ways that many of us haven't. I'm not saying that we weren't traumatized, but you and I both know that the amount of generational trauma, like collectively, that we've experienced in the last, since 2020, on the daily is off the chart. It's not normal. Those of us who have been around for a while, I'll tell you, I will be 52 in October. And the amount of just traumatizing events on the daily that is happening is not normal, okay? It didn't used to be this way. We didn't have like historical traumatizing events happening every day. There's something up with that. All right? You're absolutely onto something if you feel something's off. It is. And many of you guys have woken up into what feels like a nightmare. Like an apocalyptic nightmare. And it can be it can make you panic. It can make you have a lot of anxiety. And then you're waking up to this kind of nightmare and you're seeing everything and then you're re-traumatized every day. And the fear can overwhelm you. The anxiety can overwhelm you. And I feel like Spirit's coming forward with this message of it's really important right now that you put your peace of mind as a priority, your tranquility as a priority above everything else. And you maintain that. If you have to turn the news off, turn the news off. If you have to get space from people to maintain your peace, that's okay. And you do that until you get a sense of inner calm. And I'm not saying that you shun everybody and you isolate, but you give yourself balance. You give yourself comfort. Lean into those things. Lean into the good relationships. Lean into the people who are there for you. Lean into nurturing. Lean into comfort, okay? Because there's a lot of people very agitated right now. And I'll tell you why. Because the truth is, no matter how much fear you may be feeling, no matter how much anxiety and worry you may be feeling, the energy that's clamping down is not finding it to be fulfilling. They're not getting the energy back that they normally do because no matter how afraid we might be, we're still not falling for it. We're still not buying the story. The storyline doesn't work. The timeline they're trying to set up doesn't work anymore. It doesn't make sense. Because many of us, enough of us, have started to question the big picture. We've started to question what's going on. We're starting to see the timing. We're starting to see the why. We're starting to see how things do not make sense. We're seeing the holes in the plot. And it's getting harder for them to run game. And it's stumping people because their, let's call it magic, their impressions, their programs, whatever you want to call it, aren't as effective. Because it's as if whatever illusions we were under as a mass has been lifted. And some of us, yes, some of us are still very much lost in illusion. But enough of us are not that it's making significant impact. So, it feels like it's very important for everyone to find a sense of calm, a sense of comfort, and start practices or remember the practices that you had or have that bring you tranquility, peace, and calm. And go to that place daily as often as you need. Now, I tell people often that the Archangel Michael clearing prayer, Archangel Michael is a great energy to work with when it comes to clearing your energy, when it comes to healing. Okay? Just a wonderful energy. There's also an energy, goetic energy called Marbus. That is a wonderful energy for that. There's all kinds of different energies that work really well for calming and clearing. Gabriel can be helpful as well. There's just all different kinds, whatever you're called to. okay, that brings you peace. The wisdom goddess Sophia is another one that can bring you a lot of peace if you work with Sophia. But generally speaking, this is a time for you, if you have never started practices as far as like practices that bring you calm, that kind of thing, it's time to start. And it doesn't have to be sitting on the floor cross-legged, you know, chanting, okay? Everyone's form of meditation is different. Not everyone can chant and do traditional meditations or find their quiet place and meditate quietly for 45 minutes. Okay, everyone's mind space is different. So be open to experimentation. Some people do Tai Chi, some people do walking meditations. Some people paint, some people cook. It's just important for you to do practices on the regular that bring you a sense of peace and wholeness and tranquility, and make it a priority, okay? Because doing that, and if enough people will do that, it really does anchor the energy of tranquility into the collective. And that's really what we want to do. It will bring the level of fear down in general with all of us. In your life, you will feel more in control because you will know that although, yes, there are elements logically in the world that you do not have direct control of, there are elements within your own world that you do, and that is your focus. And in that, you know your relationship with spirit is functional and dependable. And in that, you can expand your relationship and your effects on the outside world. And many of you have already seen the effects of that in your own reality. We're seeing it right now. The collective has affected the world, and we're seeing so many things that were hidden come to the surface. And it is very ugly, and it is very stressful, but it is necessary. It is necessary for us to see the truth of who we are as a collective so that we can grow up as a planet, as a species, and we can become truly who we as a collective want to be. Not who we are projected to be, not expectations of self, but who we can ascend into a higher state of being, where we're not living in the state of constant lack, where we don't have so many people living in misery, and where we can uplift one another in positivity, you know. And no, it's not all butterflies and rainbows, okay? It's not. There's balance, right? And I'm talking about balance. But we need to look forward to a more positive future. But in order to do this, we have to get control of our mental space. And we cannot allow the fear that we are all being, just the fear that's being rained upon us, literally, we cannot allow that to take over our lives. We have to continue to get balance. And the best way right now, Spirit is saying, is to lean into those things that bring you tranquility, peace, and comfort. Those relationships, those activities. And I feel like there is a lot of emphasis here on meditation, on really working on your mental, psychic, spiritual space, and making it as tranquil as possible. It's very powerful when we do that. So, all right, guys, that's what I got for today. I hope that resonated for you. If it did, please let me know down in the comments below. I would love to hear from you guys. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I'd love to have you as a member of my tribe. And if you'd like to see more readings like this one, give me a thumbs up. And I'll see you beautiful, magical creatures next time. Bye, guys.